Hi friends, this is Sirisha, Assistant Professor in Mathematics, Department of SNH, Chabrol Engineering College. So in last lecture we discussed about theory of inference for statement calculus. In that we came to know about what is premise and what is valid argument and what are the methods for finding valid argument. In that first one we already discussed in previous class, validity using truth tables and rules of inference. In third one, rules of conditional proof. So before going to rules of conditional proof, we came to know about rules of inference. In that we have two rules, rule P and rule T. So rule P, so what is rule P? A premises may be introduced at any point in the derivation. A premises may be introduced at any point in the derivation is called rule P. And what is rule T? Derive new formula from the preceding premises in the derivation is called rule T. Or a formula S may be introduced in the derivation if S is tautologically implied by one or more of the preceding premises in the derivation is called rule T. We shall now introduce a third premise inference rule known as CP or rule of conditional proof. So in that, if we can derive S from R, a set of premises, then we can derive R implication S from the set of premises alone. So for suppose we consider n premises, that is H1, H2 and so on Hn. These premises give the conclusion C1 implication C2, C1 implication C2. So here the conclusion containing conditional connective. In such cases we use rule CP, means conditional proof. So the conclusion of the formula contains a conditional connective. When conclusion formula contains a conditional connective, that is enough to prove, we consider along the given premises left hand side of the conclusion as an additional premise. Left hand side of the conclusion as an additional premise. That is C1 you take it as a additional premise. So what we do? It is enough to prove H1, H2, Hn, comma C1 which gives the conclusion C2. This is called rule of conditional proof or rule CP or deduction theorem. So rule CP is also called the deduction theorem and is generally used in the if the conclusion of the form R implication S. So when the conclusion containing conditional connective, we use rule CP. In such cases, R is taken as an additional premise, means left hand side of the conclusion taken as an additional premise along the given premises and derive S is derived from the given premises and R. S is derived from the given premises and R. So let us consider the example. Show that R implication S can be derived from the premises P implication, Q implication S, negation R P and Q. So these are given premises. From these premises we have to derive the formula R implication S. So here the conclusion containing the conditional connective. So along these given premises we consider R as a additional premise. R as a additional premise. when the conclusion including conditional connective, we include left side of the conclusion as an additional premise. So first, in derivation we consider the premise negation or P, that is in given premise. So we mention rule P. Next, R, we introduce another premise R, that is additional premise. So rule P, from 1 and 2 steps, we derive the formula P by disjunctive syllogism. So what is the rule of disjunctive syllogism? P or negation or comma P or negation or P, which gives P. Okay, that is derived formula from 1 and 2 and by the disjunctive syllogism. Okay. Next, we introduce another premise P implication Q implication S, rule P. So from 3 and 4th steps, P comma P implication Q by modus ponens rule, we derive the formula Q. In place of Q, we are having Q implication S. So Q implication S, rule T, from 3 and 4 steps by applying modus ponens rule. Okay. In 6th step, we introduce another given premise Q, that is rule P. So from 5th and 6th steps, we derive the formula S by applying modus ponens rule. So Q comma Q implication S, which gives S. So that is rule T from 5th and 6th steps by applying modus ponens rule. So S is the required conclusion. From this we write R implication S. This is our derived conclusion. So by rule CP. So P implication Q implication S, negation R P and Q, these are given premises and we have to derive R implication S. So here conclusion having conditional connective, so we include R as an additional premise. So first we consider negation RRP, that is rule P, and again we introduce another given premise R, that is also rule P by assumed premise. So R negation RRP, from these two steps by applying disjunctive syllogism, we derive the formula P. Next, we introduce another premise P implication Q implication S, rule P. So P comma P implication Q, which gives Q by modus ponens rule, we derive the formula Q implication S. So derived formula, that is rule T, from 3rd and 4th steps by applying modus ponens rule. Next, we introduce another premise Q, rule P. From 5th and 6th step, we derive the formula S by modus ponens rule Q comma Q implication S, that is S, rule T, from 5th and 6th steps by applying modus ponens rule. So S is our required conclusion. From this we can write R implication S by rule CP. Next example, show that P implication S can be derived from the premises negation P R Q, negation R and R implication S. So from the given premises we have to derive P implication S. Here the conclusion containing conditional connective. So here we take P as an additional premise along with given premises. So first we introduce negation P R Q, rule P. and we introduce another premise P, that is assumed premise, rule P, from 1 and 2 steps. From 1 and 2 steps by disjunctive syllogism Q. So rule T from 1 and 2 and disjunctive syllogism. So negation Q or R, given premise. So rule P. Next we derive the formula R from third and fourth steps. R, rule T, from third and fourth steps and by disjunctive syllogism. So next we introduce another given premise R implication S, that is rule P. From fifth and sixth steps we derive the formula S. So by modus ponens rule. So S is our required conclusion. From this we can write P implication S, rule CP. So another example, if there was a ball game, then traveling was difficult. If they arrived on time, then traveling was not difficult. They arrived on time, therefore there was no ball game. Show that these statements constitute a valid argument. So in this example, the given connectives are given by paragraph, in the form of paragraph. So first we consider atomic statements from the given premises. So solution, let us indicate the statements as follows. First atomic statement is there was a ball game. If there was a ball game, then traveling was difficult. So there was a ball game. Next, in this another atomic statement is traveling was difficult. Next, if they arrived on time, so they arrived on time. These are the atomic statements of given data. Okay. Next we write the symbolic form of the given premises. So hence the given premises are, if there was a ball game, then traveling was difficult. If and then. So implication connective. So P implication Q. Next, if they arrived on time, the arrived on time is R. So if they arrived on time, R implication, then traveling was not difficult. So negation of Q. So traveling was difficult is Q. So traveling was not difficult means negation of Q variable. So R implication negation Q, and they arrived on time. So they arrived on time. So a standing alone proposition. So R. Therefore, here therefore treats as conclusion. Therefore treats like as conclusion part. So there was no ball game. There was no ball game means negation P. Show that these statements constitute a valid argument. So the conclusion is negation P. From these given premises, we have to conclude the negation P. If we derive negation P from these premises, the given statement is valid. Okay. So first we consider premise R implication negation Q, that is given premise rule P. So next R, that is also given premise rule P. From 1 and 2 steps we derive the formula negation Q, rule T. So 1 and 2 steps, and by applying modus ponens rule, okay. So next we introduce the given premise P implication Q, rule P. So again we derive the formula negation Q implication negation P, rule T. So P implication Q, contrapositive of P implication Q is negation Q implication negation P. We derive formula here from fourth step by applying contrapositive statement of P implication Q. So rule T from fourth step, applying the rule here. So from third and fifth steps, in third step we are having negation Q, in fifth step we are having negation Q implication negation P. So this is like P comma P implication Q, which gives Q. So in place of Q we are having negation P by the rule of modus ponens, by the rule of modus ponens. So negation P is our required conclusion. So we concluded that the statements constitute a valid argument. The given premises constitute a valid argument. So another one, by using the method of derivation, show that the following statements constitute a valid argument. So the statements are, if A works hard, then either B or C will enjoy. So A works hard, then either B or means disjunctive connective, B or C will enjoy. In this statement we are having atomic statements. If A works hard, B will enjoy, C will enjoy. P, Q, R. Here we are having three atomic statements. For P, A works hard. For Q, B will enjoy. For R, C will enjoy. In next second statement, if B enjoys, then A will not work hard. If B enjoys means Q, okay, then A will not work hard, means negation P. If D enjoys, then C will not. So here another premise, that is D will enjoy, so that is S. Then C will not, so means negation R. So therefore treats like as conclusion. If A works hard, D will not enjoy. So A works hard means P proposition, P. If then means implication connective, D will not enjoy, negation S. So first we write the symbolic form of given statements. So let us indicate statements as follows. So given premises are, so if A works hard means P implication, B or C, Q or R. Here Q will enjoy, B will enjoy, C will enjoy. Okay, this is first premise. In next premise, if B enjoys, then A will not work hard. If B enjoys means S implication, A will not work hard, negation P. Q implication, negation P. And if D enjoys, D means S, so S implication, C will not, means negation R. The conclusion is P implication negation S. The conclusion is P implication negation S. So we include P as an additional premise because the conclusion part containing the implication connective. So in such cases we use rule CP. So for that we include P as an additional premise for along the given premises. So first we introduce P, rule P, that is additional premise. So we introduce another premise P implication Q or R. So that is given premise rule P. From 1 and 2 steps we derive the formula Q or R by modus ponens from 1 and 2 steps. What is modus ponens rule? P comma P implication Q, which gives Q. In place of Q we are having Q or R. So Q or R, that is a derived formula. So it is rule T from 1 and 2 steps by applying modus ponens rule. Okay. Next we write the formula for Q or R, that is negation Q implication R, negation Q implication R by the standard equivalence law. So what is that? We know that P implication Q, which is equivalent to negation P or R. Okay, P implication Q, which is equivalent to negation P or Q. So here negation missing, the formula is negation P or Q. In place of P or Q, we write negation P implication Q. Negation P implication Q. So we apply this law to this third step. So this becomes negation Q implication R. So this is derived formula from third step by applying the equivalence relation. So next we write contrapositive statement of negation Q implication R, that is negation R implication negation of negation Q. So negation of negation Q becomes Q. So rule T, fourth step, from fourth step by applying the rule. So next we introduce another premise, Q implication negation P, that is rule P. So next we write contrapositive statement. So negation R implication negation P, rule T, from fifth and sixth steps by hypothetical syllogism. So what is the hypothetical syllogism? P implication Q, Q implication R, then P implication R. So Q implication negation P, negation R implication negation P. From these two we derive P implication R. Okay. From seventh step we applying here P implication Q, which is equivalent to negation Q implication negation P. So here in ninth step we introduce another given premise, S implication negation R, that is rule P. So we derive the formula negation of negation R implication negation S. So contrapositive statement of S implication negation R. So that derived formula is negation of negation R becomes R implication negation S, that is rule T, from ninth step and applying contrapositive statement. So next we derive the formula P implication negation S from 8th and 10th steps. In 8th step we are having P implication R, in 10th step we are having R implication negation S. So this is P implication Q, Q implication R form, that is by hypothetical syllogism we derive the formula P implication negation S. So rule T from 8th and 10th steps by applying hypothetical syllogism. So from 1 and 11, by modus ponens rule we derive the formula negation S. So hence the result. Next method, consistency of premises. Next method is consistency of premises. So a set of premises H1, H2 and so on Hm is said to be consistent if their conjunction has the truth value true for some assignment of the truth values to the atomic variables appearing in H1, H2 and so on Hm. So the set of formulas H1, H2 and so on Hm is said to be consistent if their conjunction has the truth value true. If their conjunction has the truth value true, that is H1 and H2 and so on Hn having truth value true, so then it is consistent. If for every assignment for the truth values to the atomic variables, at least one of the formula H1 and H2 and so on Hn is false, so that their conjunction is identically false, then the formula H1 and H2 and Hn are called inconsistent. So alternatively, a set of formulas H1, H2 and so on Hm is inconsistent if their conjunction imply the contradiction. Contradiction means false, that is H1 and H2 and Hm, which gives R and negation R means false, which gives the truth value false. So where R is any formula. So what is consistency premises? The premises H1, H2 and so on Hn of an argument or is said to be inconsistent if their conjunction P1 and P2 and so on Pn, or H1 and H2 and so on Hn is false in all the cases. So on the other hand, it is said to be consistent if their conjunction is true in all the cases. If their conjunction is true in all the cases. Okay. So let us consider example. Show that the following premises are inconsistent. Show that the following premises are inconsistent. First one, if Jack misses many classes through illness, then he fails high school. If Jack misses many classes through illness, then he fails high school. In these atomic statements are, Jack misses many classes through illness, he fails high school. In next one, Jack fails high school, then he is uneducated. So another premise is he is uneducated. In third one, Jack reads a lot of books, then he is not uneducated. So Jack reads a lot of books. This is another premise, atomic statement, and he is not uneducated. Variable and negation of that variable. So Jack misses many classes through illness and reads a lot of books. So for this is given data. First we indicate statements as follows. First statement, Jack misses many classes through illness. Jack misses many classes through illness. So next statement, Jack fails high school. Jack fails high school. Next, Jack reads a lot of books. Jack reads a lot of books. Next one, Jack is uneducated. Next we write these given atomic statements into symbolic form, that is, the premises are E implication S. E means Jack misses many classes through illness. Jack misses many classes through illness. So on second, the if then condition, S implication H, A implication negation H, and E and A. So in second one, Jack fails high school. So if Jack fails high school means here, then he is uneducated. So Jack fails high school represents S. If then condition means S implication, he is uneducated. He is uneducated H. So S implication H. For third statement, symbolic form is if Jack reads a lot of books. So A. Jack reads a lot of books. A implication, he is not uneducated. A implication negation H. Jack misses many classes through illness. E and reads a lot of book. Here connective is and. So symbol is conjunction symbol. E and reads a lot of books. A. So these are the given premises. So the given premises are E implication S implication H, A implication negation H, and E and A. So we prove that inconsistence means in the derivation any premise and its negation will give the contradiction. Okay. So first we consider E implication S, rule P. So we introduce another premise S implication H, rule P. From 1 and 2, E implication S implication H, we derive the formula E implication H, rule T from 1 and 2, and by hypothetical syllogism, by the hypothetical syllogism. In fourth step, we introduce given premise A implication negation H, that is rule P. So from fourth step, we derive the formula H implication negation A, means we write contrapositive statement of A implication negation H, that becomes H implication negation A. So rule T from fourth step by applying contrapositive statement. Okay. Next we derive the formula from third and fifth steps. In third step we are having E implication H. In fifth step we are having H implication negation A. From these two steps we derive the formula E implication negation A. Rule T from third and fifth steps by applying hypothetical syllogism. Okay. So next we derive the formula from sixth step by using standard equivalence formula P implication Q, which gives negation P or Q. In place of P we are having E, so negation E or Q. In place of Q, negation A. So here we are applying De Morgan's law, negation of E and A, that is rule T from seventh step. So by applying De Morgan's law, so in given premises we are having one more premise E and A, that is rule P. So here we observe 8th and ninth steps. From 8th and ninth steps we write by simplification P comma Q, which gives P and Q. So E and A and negation E and A. So this truth value is false. Thus the given set of premises leads to a contradiction. So hence it is inconsistent. The variable and its negation, the conjunction of variable and its negation gives the truth value false. So the given set of premises leads to a contradiction and hence it is inconsistent. Next one, show that the following set of premises is inconsistent. So if the contract is valid, then John is liable for penalty. So the first statement is, if the contract is valid, then John is liable for penalty. In these atomic statements are, the contract is valid, John is liable for penalty. So here V is the contract is valid and L proposition is John is liable for penalty. If John is liable for penalty, so repeated proposition, he will go bankrupt. He will go is another preposition. He will go bankrupt. So let it be M. Bank will loan him money. So if the bank will loan him money, he will not go bankrupt. So B. John will go bankrupt. As a matter of fact, the contract is valid and the bank will loan him money. As a matter of fact, the contract is valid and the bank will loan him money. So we write this given data into atomic statements. So the first statement is, the contract is valid. Second statement is, John is liable for penalty. Third statement is, bank will loan him money. Fourth statement, John will go bankrupt. So these are the atomic statements of given data. So next we write symbolic form of these data. So that is V implication L and L implication B, M implication negation B and V and M. These are given premises. So we have to prove the contradiction. These premises leads the contradiction. So first we introduce V implication L. So rule P. Next we introduce another premise, L implication B. Rule P. From these two steps we introduce another formula, V implication B, derived formula V implication B. That is rule T from 1 and 2 steps by Hypothetical syllogism means P implication Q, Q implication R, which gives P implication R. So by applying hypothetical syllogism, we derive the formula V implication B. So next we introduce another premise, M implication negation B, that is given premise, so it is rule P. So next we derive the formula from fourth steps by write contrapositive statement. So that is negation of negation B implication negation M. So here we write negation of negation B means B implication negation M. So in place of B it is M. So here B, the correction is B implication negation M. Okay, the correction is B implication negation M. So from third and fifth step we derive the formula V implication negation M. V implication negation M by hypothetical syllogism. So what is that? V implication B and B implication negation M. From these we derive the formula V implication negation M, that is rule T from third and fifth steps by applying hypothetical syllogism. And also we introduce another formula, we derive another formula from sixth step using standard equivalence formula, that is P implication Q, which gives negation P or Q. In place of P we are having V, in place of Q we are having negation M, so it becomes negation V or negation M by the equivalence law P implication Q, which gives negation P or Q. So in 8th step we derive formula from 7th step, that is by applying De Morgan's law we get negation of V and M by De Morgan's law. So we have another premise, another given premise, that is V and M. Finally we are having another last premise P and M, that is rule P. From 8th and 9th steps we derive the formula P comma Q, which gives P and Q the conjunction of V and M negation V and M, which gives truth value false. So the given premises leads to contradiction and hence it is inconsistent. The given premises leads to contradiction and hence it is inconsistent. So another method of proof, indirect method of proof. So the method of using the rule of conditional proof and the notation of an inconsistent set of premises is called the indirect method of proof or proof by contradiction. In order to show that a conclusion C follows logically from the premises H1, H2 and so on Hn, we assume that C is false and consider negation C is an additional premise. If the new set of premises inconsistent, so that they imply a contradiction. So therefore the assumption that negation C is true does not hold. Hence C is true whenever H1, H2 and so on Hm are true. Thus C follows logically from the premises H1, H2 and so on Hm. Means suppose we are having given premises H1, H2 and so on Hn, which gives the conclusion C. Instead of proving this directly, what we can do? We can take along with these given premises, we should take negation of given conclusion also. So given conclusion also as an additional premise, and when we combine all these n plus 1 premises, we should conclude a contradiction F. This is what the indirect method says. So once we prove this along these premises, both variable and negation of that variable, that gives contradiction. So C is true wherever H1, H2 and so on Hm are true. Thus C follows logically from the premises H1, H2 and so on Hm. So what is indirect method? Instead of proving this directly, what is that? H1, H2 and so on Hm, which gives C. What we can do? We can take along with these given premises, we should include negation of given conclusion also as an additional premise. And when we combine all these n plus 1 premises, we should get a contradiction. This is what the indirect method says. Okay. So first problem, show that negation P and Q follows from negation P and negation Q. So by using indirect method, so we introduce negation P and Q as an additional premise and show that this additional premise leads to a contradiction. So here the conclusion is negation P and Q. Using in indirect method, we include negation of the conclusion along with the given premise. Okay, along with the given premise. So first we consider assumed premise, negation of negation P and Q, that is rule P, assumed premise. So negation of negation becomes by negation law P and Q, rule T. By the law negation of negation P becomes, which is equivalent to P. So from second step, we derive the formula P by simplification rule, that is I1 by simplification rule, P and Q which gives P, P and Q which gives Q. So by that rule we derive P, that is derived rule. So it is rule T from the step 2 by the simplification. So and also the given premise is negation P and negation Q, that is given premise rule P. So we derive the formula negation P from fourth step by applying simplification. What is simplification? P and Q which gives P or Q. So here in place of P we are having negation P. So here negation P. So in this derivation, variable and its negation, appearing variable and its negation. So from third and fifth steps we derive the formula P and negation P. So P and negation P, the conjunction of P and negation P gives the truth value false. So hence our assumption is wrong. So now thus negation P and Q is follows from negation P and negation Q. This is true statement. So using the indirect method of proof, show that P implication Q, Q implication R, negation P and R, P R R, implication R. So using indirect method of proof, so in that we include negation of the conclusion, means negation R along with given premises, and finally we derive a contradiction. Okay, so we include negation R as an additional premise, then we show that this leads to a contradiction. So first we introduce the given premise P implication Q, that is rule P, and introduce Q implication R, that is also given premise rule P. From these two premises we derive the formula P implication R by hypothetical syllogism from the steps 1 and 2, that is P implication R. Next we introduce the assumed premise negation R. So rule P assumed. From third and fourth steps by modus tollens we derive the formula negation P. So what is modus tollens? Negation P implication R comma negation R, which gives negation of another variable, that is negation P. Rule T from fourth step. So next we introduce last given premise PRR, that is rule P. PRR, that is rule P. From fifth and sixth steps, we derive the formula. From fifth and sixth steps we derive the formula R by disjunctive syllogism. What is disjunctive syllogism? Negation P comma PRQ, which is equivalent to Q. So here negation P comma PRR, which is equivalent to R, that is rule T from fifth and sixth steps by disjunctive syllogism. Okay, so from fourth and seventh steps we derive the formula R and negation R, which gives the truth value false. So it is the given premises leads to contradiction. So as our assumption is wrong. Therefore P implication Q comma Q implication R comma negation P and R PRR, which is equivalent to R. This is the true statement. Hence the proof. Thank you.